Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the MetWorks newsroom. After 60 years on the throne, it's a very special year for the Queen, who is celebrating her Diamond Jubilee this June. Joining us later on the show are Tom Harrison, chairman of the Royalist Party, and Scott Pepe, a campaign manager of the British Monarchist League. Before we talked to them, however, we went to the gates of Buckingham Palace to find out what the public had to say about the royal family.
I think people have a mixed view about what what the UK stands for, and some people are a little bit more keen on the monarchy than others.
I know. I think a lot of people here, especially in all parts of London and all parts of the country, are very pro-royalist.
And young and old.
Yes.
It's probably the most important part of the culture in England, so I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I suppose I'm not quite so keen on Charles. I'll say this, I don't mind. But I'm
Off with your head.
Yes, exactly. Take her to the Tower.
I mean, if you just look at the royal wedding, for example, just how many people turned up for that, and how popular it was. I think it was watched by every single person in the world.
Yeah, I like the dress, and I like William's outfit as well.
But I think that the costs of that situation is very expensive for the country, and especially in this crisis, no?
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a waste of money.
The Queen is fantastic.
Yeah. It does a good job for the country, and a lot of countries which don't have a Queen or a royal family wish they could have.
But I do think that that our Queen is, does a lot of good work.
So I think it should go to William, and therefore it would bring a much younger view to the monarchy, and we would have to see where it went from there.
Thank you, London, and thank you to my guests for joining us today. We have Tom and Scott. Let's take a look at our questions. Scott, if you could answer first, can you tell me a bit about your party and your involvement in it?
Well, the British Monarchist League isn't actually a political party. It's a pressure group that we set up about 18 months ago to try and counter what we felt were growing voices from the Republican movement, though I would like to point out not growing numbers. And we've been very pleased with our success. We've got over 3,500 members, which we're really pleased about, and we've started to appear on television and on the radio and even in the Sunday newspapers. My role as a young monarchist, which some people seem as unusual, though a majority of our members are below 25, is to not only lead the young voice of monarchism, but also to oversee the whole campaign to make sure that we are winning the argument against Republicans, and I think we're doing that.
How can you explain such a strong membership from a young population?
Well, two things really. I think the young people have a lot of respect for our royal family, and particularly for Her Majesty the Queen. I mean, it's difficult not to have respect for someone who was born before you, before your parents, and probably even before your grandparents. But also we use lots of innovative campaign tools. We use social networking, Twitter, Facebook. All of those things tend to tap into a younger group more than an older demographic.
And can you tell me a little bit about your party and your involvement in it?
Oh well, the Royalist Party is, like I say, it's quite a young organisation. It's 2 years old. 2010 it started really, and it's unlike the BML. It's an actual political party. It has policy. It has a drive. Eventually, hopefully, one would hope to get to Westminster and make some changes to the way that British politics goes about its business. But yes, we have a, like I said, we're very young, but we do have a growing membership. Again, quite a young membership, but also we have some older faces in there which bring those traditionalist values which we aim to protect, and also, but traditionalist values with progressive policies. So we're not looking to step backwards, as many people would say that we do. We very much see that Britain should move forwards rather than back, but monarchy, Commons and Lords should all have an equal say and role within British politics, and we wish to move that forward.
Sure. So you'd say your ultimate goal would be to appear at Westminster.
Yes, eventually. Hopefully, I'd say it's a long way off, but yes, we do hope to get there eventually. Yes, yeah. And it's all pointing in the right direction so far. There's been no steps backwards.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your hopes for your party's future?
Well, we hope to gain as many members as possible. If we could get the 85% of the British people that support the royal family on board, that would be fantastic. But I think to have a target of members, or obviously we're not going to campaign in seats like Tom's party, but I think if we could have ourselves as the established voice of not only of the monarchist movement, but of the British people in this field, that we were valued and trusted for our opinion, and to forward the view that we should have the Queen as our head of state, and also to encourage a younger generation to join our movement and support the monarchy as well.
Tom, how was the royal wedding for you?
I mean, the royal wedding was nothing that I'd ever seen before, and the vast majority of the people hadn't seen such a celebration for someone that actually wasn't a monarch within our country. My celebrations for it were quite a private affair. So we had a party at a family house. Friends and family were there, watched it home on the telly, decorated out the house with good for Union flags and a nice flagpole in the back garden, much to the excitement of the neighbours. It was a really good affair, and it was everybody. Not only like my family came together and my friends came together, but the whole nation came together to celebrate something that we obviously hold so dear to us. And as many people have said, it's what Britain does best, and it's something we can all rejoice upon. And yes, there's murmurs that people say it's costing this, it's costing that, but looking at the whole bigger picture, in my opinion, and 85% of the people's opinion, it is all worth it, and it is what we do best. And I was so proud to see Catherine and William as they got married.
Mm. So do your family support your role in the party?
Yes, most definitely, yeah. I mean, they're always very encouraging, very supportive. I've never really, my family dates back a little bit. It's more of quite a socialist type family. They perhaps slightly more movements towards a republic. But really, my immediate family, they're very supportive of me, and they've helped in a way sort of form the ideas I have. As every person's family forms partly their opinions that they have, and that's very much the case for me. And they've been nothing more than supportive. You know, it's been brilliant.
Scott, did you do something special for the royal wedding?
I did something very special indeed. I was lucky enough to camp out at the royal wedding. I camped out for 4 days, from the Monday evening all the way through to the big day.
Wow.
So even though I say that, not quite at the front of the queue, a few Americans got in there before us. And I would echo everything that Tom said. It was a celebration of the nation coming together, but more than that, it was an international celebration. It had a TV viewing audience of over 2 billion people, so 1 in 3 people in the world had something to do with the royal wedding, which I think is fairly extraordinary for brand Britain, and it's something that the royal family really does very well, is export everything that's great about Britain throughout the world. And on that day, we really saw it, and I was absolutely at the front of the queue. And when I turned around and saw millions of people behind me, I thought, this is a great day for Britain, and I'm very proud to be British.
2 billion people.
That's the statistics we got sent. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Scott, many of the public are supportive of the royal family, but how would you answer those, such as Republic, who say they're just a waste of taxpayers' money?
Well, I think there are 2 points to this answer. The first is that I think the royal family are excellent value for money, and that should be taken differently from the initial cost. I think we have the best value head of state in the world. Though I would say that at 63p, she is by far one of the cheapest government institutions per taxpayer per year.